Parshat Balak offers us a unique perspective on the Jewish people. Throughout the book of Bamidbar, we are traveling with Bnei Yisrael, with the children of Israel, in their camp, watching what goes on from the point of view of an insider. But when we come to Parshat Balak, we are suddenly taken outside of the camp. We look at the camp from the perspective of an outsider. And not just any outsider, but Bilaam, an arch enemy of the Jewish people. Bilaam is hired by Balak, the king of Moab, to curse the Jewish people. And he comes to him with a great deal of fanfare. And the two go to the top of a cliff, and there they look down upon the camp of Israel. Bilaam is now ready to curse the Jewish people, and in that way weaken them so that Balak can go and fight against them. He looks down upon the camp, and suddenly he sees something that perhaps he didn't expect. He sees within his enemies a redeeming quality, or more than one redeeming quality. And he says those famous words, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkonotecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, Jacob, your dwelling places, Israel. There is something that Bilaam sees which is unique and novel amongst the Jewish people. He looks upon their tents. They are goodly, and their dwelling places. And our sages explain as follows, that when he looks at the setup of the camp, he sees that it is designed in such a way that no tent's opening is opposite another tent's opening. No one can see into the home of their neighbor. Everyone has a sense of privacy. I remember the first sermon that I gave at the Claremont Shul many years ago, and was on this parasha. And at that time, there was a very popular program on television, Big Brother. The idea being to put a whole lot of people together in a home and to watch their every move. There were cameras all over the home, and everything they did and everything they said, whether it was something private or not, was recorded on film. And this is really anathema to Judaism. To watch another person's private life, to go into their home and to see what's happening, is really something that's against Jewish belief and Jewish spirit. And this is what Bilaam had picked up upon. He was going to curse them, but he ended up blessing them because they had this unique sense of privacy. Everybody's home was their castle, and it was their private space. Then he saw something else. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, how goodly are your tents. And very often within rabbinic teaching, the word tents means a tent of learning, a place of study. He looked upon the Jewish people and he saw that they were involved in the daily study of Torah and in daily prayers to God. And in fact, it is this verse that many, many Jews say as they enter into the synagogue every single morning. How goodly are your tents, O Israel, referring not to homes, but to the tents of learning and the tents of prayer. In the code of Jewish law, we are told as follows, that after the morning prayers, a person should leave the Beit HaKnesset, he should leave the house of prayer, and go to the Beit Midrash, the house of study. And this is based on a verse which tells us that those who go Michayil el Chayil, from chamber to chamber, will appear before God in Zion. That a person should go from the chamber of prayer to the chamber of study. And this was the way of the Jewish world for many, many centuries and continues to this day. That before a person would go out to work to earn their livelihood, they would spend a little bit of time studying. And this applied to every single Jew. It didn't make a difference whether this was a learned Jew. It didn't make a difference whether this was somebody old or somebody young. This was a daily routine. To come early to shul in the morning and after prayers to sit down and to study. Then they would come again in the afternoon, sometimes a little bit before the afternoon service, or sometimes immediately after the afternoon service, they would study until the evening service. Today we speak a great deal about adult education, as if it's something new, almost as if education happens to young people, and then occasionally we have adult education. However, when it comes to Torah study, it's not like that. Torah study is a lifetime's goal. It's a lifetime achievement. We don't stop studying when we finish school, 12 years of school. We don't even stop studying when we're finished at a tertiary education. we continue to study for the rest of our lives. And that's what Bilaam saw. That was the unique aspect of the Jewish people, their incredible love of learning. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. How goodly are your tents that you continue to study all of the time. Whether you're a young person, whether you're an old person, you continue to study. And the great Chofetz Chaim, in his commentary to the Code of Jewish Law, the Mishnah Berurah, tells us that perhaps today, and he was writing before 1933, perhaps today is the easiest time ever to study Torah, because there are so many traditional books that have been translated into the vernacular. In his time, he was speaking about Yiddish, but in our time, English. There are thousands and thousands of volumes of traditional Torah literature that have been translated into English. You can get the entire Talmud in English. You can get the Midrash in English. You can study every day. And even if you perhaps don't have access to good Jewish bookshops, you can go onto the internet. And there is so much Torah that is available. So let's live up to that blessing that Bilaam gave the Jewish people of how goodly are your tents, to continue our study, not just to stop when we're young, but to continue with our adult education, our Torah study for the rest of our lives. And with that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.